Welcome to Katie Calls BS, the podcast where we cut through the noise in course creation, digital products, and business strategy. I'm Katie Miller, bringing you blunt advice, real action steps, and the occasional F-bomb because building a business is hard and the BS isn't helping. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Katie Calls BS. I spent the last 2 days at the Creative Educator Conference here in Dallas, and I need to tell you what happened because I think there's something in it for every single person listening to this. I'm more introverted, so walking into a room full of people I don't know is genuinely my nightmare. Add in the traffic on a Tuesday morning and showing up later than I wanted to, and you have my double nightmare. Late, a little sweaty, and everyone already has their seats and friends. Not to mention there was a welcome party the night before that I did not attend because I wanted to hang out with my kids and my parents who were visiting. Anyway, I walk in, I find my name tag, and I find a seat because things are starting soonish, and I start walking around. I had already made the decision going into this that I was going to do the thing that felt the hardest. I was going to introduce myself to people I did not know. I was going to walk up to speakers after their sessions if I enjoyed them. I was going to sit by myself at a table if I had to, and wait for someone to sit down. I was going into this conference without knowing anyone. It turns out I did know a few people that were attending. I just didn't know it. But I was going to choose my courage over comfort. Every single time the voice in my head told me to hang back, I was going to do the opposite. So I took a breath and I walked up to somebody. I said the thing I have spent my entire career building. I said, "Hi, I'm Katie. I'm an instructional designer." I got a blank stare. Their eyes blinked, when you get that double blink, and there was silence. This is not the first time that this has happened, but it happened over and over again. Every single person I introduced myself to at this conference, full of my ideal clients, had no idea what an instructional designer does. Here's the thing, a less uncomfortable version of me would have retreated. I would have gone to my seat, waited for the speakers to start their talks, and probably just ignored everyone. Maybe said hi to the people around me, waited for people to come up to me. I probably would have pulled out my phone, decided the networking part was not really for me anyway. But I stayed in it. I kept going. I tried again and again. I said, I take what you already know, the frameworks, your process, the expertise you have built in your business. I help you turn it into something teachable. A course, a membership, a digital product people can actually buy. Every single time, without fail, the response changed completely. Their face changed. They said, "Oh, we need to talk." That moment, that shift from a blank stare to their faces lighting up, it didn't happen because I said the right words the first time. It happened because I stayed uncomfortable long enough to find them. There was a lot of talk at this conference about finding clarity in what you want to be known for, knowing your worth and charging for it, then telling the story about it through your messaging. That's honestly really hard to do. It took me a lot of years to get there. Probably will take me a few more years to be comfortable with it. But here's the BS I want to call out today. Staying in your comfort zone and calling it a strategy is BS. I see it all the time. Someone who has built real expertise, years of knowledge, real client results, genuine frameworks, who is almost entirely invisible in their market. When you ask them why they are not showing up more, not putting themselves in new rooms, not talking about what they do with more confidence, the answers all sound pretty reasonable. I'm still figuring out my messaging. I'm not ready to put myself out there yet. I'm still working on it. I need to get my website sorted first. I don't want to come across as too salesy. I'm an introvert. Networking isn't really my thing. Well, same. I'm not saying those things aren't real. Some of them are. I lived most of them at the conference. But here's the truth. Every single one of those reasons, real as they feel, is also a very comfortable place to stay. They're very cozy, really comfy excuses. Comfort is the enemy of being known. You cannot show up as the expert you are if you are not willing to be uncomfortable about it. Not occasionally, regularly. Choosing your courage over and over in small ways and big ones, in how you introduce yourself, in how you talk about your work, in the rooms you walk into, in the feedback you seek out, in the new things you learn and actually implement. The expertise is not the problem. It is almost never the problem. The comfort zone is the problem. It's so much easier to stay in the comfort zone. But why is it so easy to stay comfortable? Why do smart, capable, genuinely expert people keep choosing the safe version of showing up? There's a few reasons. The first is that the comfort zone is productive. You're not doing nothing there. You are working, you are delivering for clients, you are making things, you are learning. It doesn't feel like avoidance. It feels like focus. But what you are actually doing is building expertise in private that no one can see or find or buy. The second part of that is discomfort feels like a signal to stop. It's a red flag. When something is uncomfortable, when you feel that resistance before walking into a room, or the hesitation before posting something, or the vulnerability of saying out loud what you actually do or what you charge for it, that registers as a warning. It's your brain telling you that this is not safe, as evidence that you are not ready. But that discomfort is not a stop sign. It's a sign that something matters enough to make you nervous. You care. Those are very different things. The third reason is that the comfort zone has never cost you anything obvious. You have built a business. You have clients. Things are fine. The cost of staying comfortable is invisible. It shows up as the opportunities you did not get, the clients who could not find you, the digital products you never built, the rooms you never walked into. You cannot see what did not happen, but the cost is real and it compounds. I want to be specific here because I think we throw around the idea of getting out of your comfort zone without talking about what it actually looks like in practice. At the conference last week, choosing courage for me looked like walking into the room and showing up at all, buying the ticket, getting into the car, walking through the door when every instinct was telling me, well, it's a lot with the kids' schedule. I don't know anyone. Ugh, people. The decision to be physically present in a room where things can happen is itself an act of courage for a lot of people. Don't underestimate it. Starting a conversation can be really hard, not wanting for someone to come up to you or waiting for anyone to come up to you, but walking up to them and introducing yourself first. Sitting down at a table of strangers or walking up to a group of strangers and inserting yourself into the conversation is a challenge. Every single one of those moments is a small choice. Every time you make it, it gets fractionally easier, but you have to make that decision first. When you stay in that discomfort, and this is the one that changed everything for me at that conference, when you get that blank stare and you don't retreat, it's a big thing. You have to try again with different words. You have to not just say again, I'm an instructional designer, but you stay in the conversation long enough to find the version that lands. If I had walked away after that first blank stare, I would have gone home with nothing. But you stay in the discomfort, which I have done many times, and you find the language that made your ideal client's eyes light up. You eventually get to the point where they say, oh, we really do need to talk. That makes so much sense. When I walked up to the speakers, the people who are on the stage that are there because they have something worth hearing, hopefully, after their session, they are usually standing right there, but walking up and introducing yourself and asking a real question or telling them what landed for you, that is a direct line to someone who's thinking you respect. Most people don't do it. They don't have the guts to walk up to a speaker. which means the ones who do are immediately memorable. Asking someone to tell you honestly what they did not understand when you seek out feedback, that one stings. It's not easy. But sharing something before you feel ready, putting your work in front of someone who will tell you the truth, you have to have that trusted circle. That's uncomfortable. It is also the fastest way to get better and clearer and more ready than staying in your head about it. I have told the founder of the conference that I will be speaking on her stage one day. That's a bold statement for me. I also applied to be a speaker at this conference and I wasn't accepted. At the end of this year's conference, I told her I will be on her stage one day. It makes me barf a little, but I'm not lying when I say that I will be. Learning something new and actually using it and applying it is another way that you can choose courage. Not just collecting that information, but implementing it. Taking the thing you learned in the session, the conversation, the book, the podcast, and doing something with it before the feeling wears off. Comfort is just collecting all the things. Courage is implementing it. We all have a collection of information that we've gotten from various conferences, books, podcasts, whatever. But if you can actually take the next step and implement it, that's courage. Not just collecting it all. We don't need to hoard all the information, but you need to actually implement it. The next is saying what you do clearly, confidently, and without apologizing for it. Charging what it's worth. Claiming the title, the niche, the specific thing you are known for, even before you feel completely certain about it. You do not get certain first and then claim it. You claim it, and the certainty follows. Here's why all of this matters beyond just your personal growth and feeling better about it and going beyond your comfort zone and the courage to have it and all the things. The expert who is known is not always the most qualified person in the room. They are the person who showed up in enough rooms, had enough uncomfortable conversations, and claimed their expertise clearly enough that the right people started to associate them with it. Expertise that stays inside your comfort zone stays invisible. It does not get found. It does not get hired, and it does not become a digital product that works. Because building a digital product requires the same things that walking into that conference required of me. You have to claim what you know. You have to name it clearly enough that the right person immediately understands what they're getting. You have to be willing to put it out there before it feels perfectly ready. You have to stay in the discomfort of the blank stare long enough to find the version that makes people say, "Oh, we need to talk." The conference was a microcosm of what it takes to build a business that is actually known for something. Every uncomfortable moment I chose to stay in was practice for exactly what it takes to package expertise, put it out into the world, and let the right people find it. You know what can't do that? AI. You cannot generate it with AI. You cannot find it by staying where it is uncomfortable. You have to choose your courage over and over in the small moments and the big ones. There were many conversations at this conference about AI being a tool we can use, but it will never replace the expertise and experience we as humans have. AI cannot show up and have conversations in rooms like this conference. If you recognize the comfort zone you have been living in, put yourself in a new room, a conference, a networking event, a workshop, a community, somewhere you do not already know everyone, and where the people in that room are dealing with the problems you solve. Go, show up, introduce yourself first. Stay long enough for something to happen, even if you just meet one person. Say what you do out loud to someone who does not already know. Not on a website, not in your bio, but out loud in a real conversation to a real person who has no context for what you do. Watch their face. If you get the blank stare, that's information. Adjust, try again, keep going until you find the version that gets the lean in, the, "Oh, that's so cool," or, "Oh, we need to talk." It might not be pretty. It took me a long time to be able to say what I do in one sentence. Sometimes words are hard and it comes out a jumbled mess. That's okay, it's just practice. Implement one uncomfortable thing this week. Not plan it, not save it for later. You have to do it. Post the thing, send the email, make the offer, raise your price, walk up to the speaker. The gap between knowing what you should do and actually doing it is where expertise goes to stay invisible. If you want to figure out what your expertise looks like as a digital product, what is ready to be packaged, what needs clarity first, and where to start so the whole thing actually connects to your business, that's what the digital product infrastructure audit is for. It starts with what you know and what you have in your business already, and it gets out of your head and into something real. The blank stare that you get from people is not a sign that you're in the wrong room or saying the wrong thing or that your expertise is not valuable enough. It is a sign that you just haven't found the language yet. The only way to find the language is to stay in the conversation and the uncomfortable. Choose your courage. Show up uncomfortable. Stay in it long enough to find what lands. That is how you become the expert people actually find. It takes practice. I'm still practicing. I may have walked up to some of the speakers, but I didn't introduce myself. Did I think about it for the rest of the night? Maybe. Progress over perfection. It's all we can do. Have a great week. I'll see you next time. If today's episode hit home, share it with a friend and hit follow so you never miss the next one. Until then, keep calling out the BS and building your business your way.